So if someone's about to come to Australia or the UK or Canada, what steps can they take to prepare for it so it doesn't hit them so hard?
You should start thinking about what you can do as soon as you land to start building your own tribe of people. There are groups online, Facebook groups that you can start researching and thinking about how you can join. One ready-made place where we find connection is in church if you're a Christian. So you should be thinking about those things even before you land. So don't keep it until too late. Don't keep it until you arrive here before you start running from pillar to post, trying to find your own people.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Doing Diaspora. I know it's been a moment, but I know that you guys know that we always have something good cooking in the background. Anyways, we are here again. A funny backstory, we've already shot this video before, so this is a second take and we're hoping this is the final take, but it's still going to be good either way. Now, I want to introduce you to our guest. It's actually a collaboration with Life with Chioma. If you haven't heard of her, she's a YouTuber also based in Sydney. We found ourselves and we decided to collaborate. So definitely go check out her channel. We handled another very, very juicy topic about relocation and betrayal. So whether you're betraying your country by relocating, we handled that topic on her channel. So go and hear what our opinions are. But yeah, Chioma is amazing. If you haven't checked out her channel, go there. She has so much gems, so much information, so much good stuff. You definitely have to check it. I'll link her YouTube channel in the bio, and trust me, when you go there, you come back, you thank me. So definitely go check out her channel. I'll be introducing her because we're going to be talking about a topic that is very, very, very common, but also very important: loneliness. All this, I want to jackpot, I want to travel. What happens when you finally get here and you realize that Auntie BC down the road, you cannot just call her, you can't walk over, you can't see your siblings like you used to, you don't have access to your parents. And then if you're coming for a master's or PhD or higher degree, you're already an adult. And let's face it, adult friendships are like another level. So now you're now dealing with loneliness. You've jackpado, you've made it, you've crossed the border, hallelujah. And now loneliness hits you. And so we're going to be talking about migration, that is jackpa, and loneliness. How do you navigate it? Why does it even happen? All that good stuff. And I brought the best person that will answer these questions, Chioma. So let me introduce her. Chioma, welcome back to our channel again, because this is the second time. Say hi to my people, please.
Oh my God. Hi, everyone. Second time is a charm, hopefully. I am happy to be here again. Like Joe said, we've attempted to do this a first time, and that's a story for another day. But I am happy to be here, and I am very certain that this time around you will be watching this video. So if you do get to see this video, this was our successful attempt. We're going to be talking about loneliness today, so let's see how it goes. I hope it's something you enjoy. Please leave your comments in the comment section. We want this to be as interactive as possible. So as those thoughts are coming, okay, please put it in the comment section. Don't leave it until the end of the video. Put it as it is coming, okay? So let's keep that engagement going.
Excellent, good point. So I'm going to jump right into it so we don't keep you guys for too long. My first question is, do you think loneliness is something that almost every new migrant will experience when they travel to another country?
So I think loneliness is something that you should plan for, okay? Whether you eventually experience it or not, I feel it should be part of your planning. I would say there's a higher chance that you will hit some kind of bumps ahead of you or some kind of dips, and some of those dips might then extend into experiences that might make you feel lonely. So it's best you have that in your plan if you're going to be relocating to another country. Now, to answer that question directly, if I'm going by my observation, I think most of the people I have spoken to who relocated to another country have at some time or another in their relocation experience, they've had to deal with loneliness. So yeah, I would say most, maybe not all, but most migrants will at some point face experiences of loneliness.
I think that's a good point. Like, being mentally prepared for it makes it less of a bombshell to hit you when it finally happens. rather than you thinking, oh, you're just going to go over there, everything is going to be fine, it's going to be the same. The mental preparedness is very important. So I love that you mentioned that point. So the next question I have is, how do you prepare for loneliness? You made a point that we should be mentally prepared for it, but is it just the mental preparedness? What else can we do to prepare for the loneliness that's to come? So if someone's about to come to Australia or the UK or Canada, what steps can they take to prepare for it so it doesn't hit them so hard?
You know, the first stage of that preparation has to come within the time that you're thinking about relocating. Okay, so all the activities that go together with researching your options, researching where you want to go, should be the very first basic step. And I call it a basic step because at the very least, you want to know what the lifestyle is like in the country you're going to. So what is the culture like? What are the people like? You know, there's this general perception that Western countries are individualistic in their culture, which is a bit different from our very collectivist kind of culture. Now, until you've experienced it, you might not really understand what being in an individualistic culture would look like. Think about it. You're looking at a place where people basically just keep to themselves. Yeah, you can be in a place and not even know who your next door neighbor is. Maybe you catch glimpses of them, you know, when they go out or when they come in, but that is where it ends. You might be in a neighborhood for 10 years and not even know what your neighbor's name is. You know, just thinking about it on that very basic level should be part of that mental preparation, such that when you come in, it's not so much of a shock. And then another thing is, again, to be very conscious of your own personality and the kind of things that you know you might struggle with. For instance, some people are very sociable, and if you're that kind of person who would struggle to be by themselves, then you should start thinking about what you can do as soon as you land to start building your own tribe of people, basically. So there are groups online, you know, Facebook groups that you can start researching and thinking about how you can join. For some of us as Nigerians, one ready-made place where we find connection is in church, for instance, you know, if you're a Christian. So you should be thinking about those things even before you land. So don't keep it until too late. Don't keep it until you arrive here before you start running from pillar to post, trying to find your own people. And then, of course, depending on the kind of visa that is bringing you in, if you're going to be on a student visa, then ready your mind to be very forthcoming in how you approach people, speak to people, network with people. Don't come in here and exist in a bubble. Yeah, so those are some of the ways that you can start preparing practically and also mentally to deal with loneliness if it does come up in your journey.
I think you've raised really good points there. And I think what also comes to mind is, how about those people that are already here and they're struggling with loneliness? So they didn't have the chance to research and do all these things. It still applies, you know, even if you're here. You can still go on those Facebook groups. Essentially, just like with most things, it takes time. Over time, you settle in. Over time, you find your tribe. I can't say I'm lonely anymore. I have a tribe, like a big tribe. I think part of it is because I run a catering business, shameless plug. I always say it. But also I've been here for 10 years. You know, I didn't have that tribe when I first came in. Time is a very huge factor. So give yourself some time, give yourself some grace. It's also really important to study the groups you enter into, because you still have toxic people in those communities, in those settings that you need to be able to.
That's important as well.
Exactly, very important that you need to be able to filter out, just so that you don't end up, you know, having another issue to deal with altogether. So yeah, thank you for those points. Those were really insightful.
I was going to add to that and just say, sometimes finding yourself in the wrong crowd can exacerbate feelings of loneliness. So as you were saying, Joe, it's important that you that you filter your crowd.
Exactly. You don't want a situation where you're trying to alleviate loneliness or run away from loneliness and you find yourself in a community, a tribe, a group of people where you're like, what kind of people are these? These are not the kind of friends I had back home, you know. So just, yeah, be careful. I'm saying be careful 100 times. Just, yeah, me and Choma, we know what we're talking about. Just take it easy. So my next question is, do you think loneliness is experienced differently between men and women?
Okay, let me start with the yes. And then as I talk, if I remember the no, I will talk to the no. I say yes because sometimes, you know, if we want to break loneliness down into like different elements and the things that can cause loneliness. Then we might be looking at things like physical loneliness, cultural loneliness, social loneliness. Yeah, if we're looking at it from that angle, then that is where we might begin to see differences between men and women. What I have noticed here is that I see a lot more men who lament the loss of their friendships than women. Yeah, I don't know whether this is like a fact, but that's what I have observed. I have interacted with more men who have spoken so sadly about not being around their friends and the kind of activities that they used to do back home, like hanging out with their friends all the time. I see more men who lament around that. So in that sense, it feels to me like men would be more socially lonely. Meanwhile, for women, that's not to say that we don't feel the loss of our friendships from back home, but I feel like for us women, we're very good at connecting with other women. We're also really good at finding, what would I say? Would I say finding purpose wherever we are? And that purpose might come from just being able to carry on with the same traditions we've always had. Like, for instance, if we're thinking about married women with children, when they come in here, their lives are not so distinctly different to what it was back home. They are still doing the same things around caring for their kids, looking after their families. But for men, it's like the balance changes a lot more. They don't have their friends anymore. But again, maybe this might lead into another kind of conversation, not for this video. But we also see men who then have to also change some of their roles in the house, like domestically, and they struggle with that as well. So in that sense, I feel like men might be positioned to feel a lot more lonely than women when relocation happens. That's just my observation. Yeah, I don't know. I would be keen to hear your own thoughts on this.
There's loneliness, like I'm trying to break it down between when you're single and when you're married. Because don't get it twisted. You can be lonely in marriage. You can still be lonely in your marriage.
Yes, you can.
I feel like perception of if you move with your husband, you won't be lonely. But it can actually still happen in marriage because it's a little bit better because you can rely on each other. Again, it depends on the kind of relationship you have with your significant other. You can rely on each other, but remember, you're also going to be facing new things, new challenges, new experiences. Like she mentioned, a man that perhaps was just working back home and providing, and you had one maid, one for each child, you had one chef, you had, all those kind of things that we do back home. And then you come here, my sisters and brothers, the price of maid is the price of your own job. So you reason it doesn't make sense to have it. So now the man has to be more hands-on because more than likely it's a two-income household. And so you're going to have to navigate that. If you're not from Nigeria, you might not understand, but back home, we have a very patriarchal society and the men are the providers. So when they come over here, there's that pressure still to provide, where they find themselves working multiple hours, taking multiple jobs, multiple shifts. And so there's less of an opportunity to socialize. If you have a woman that's a stay-at-home mom, for instance, or working part-time, she might have time to catch up with another mom that has kids. There's a little bit more wiggle room. Men may be experiencing more loneliness, but because they're less sociable. I completely agree. And also, they're very attached to the past experiences. You talk to a guy and he'll tell you how, I miss Nigeria. I used to catch up with my boys here. We used to go out and hang out here. It's not the same here. But also it's the time. I'm telling you, majority of people have not figured out how to make wealth without spending a lot of time. When we talk about passive income, it's not something that's highly discussed in the community. So if you're working back to back to back to back, you don't even have time for your family, not to talk of to make friends. Do you understand? So the loneliness creeps up, and I agree with you. I think men experience more loneliness. They also don't talk about it as much. Yeah, that's my stance on it. So I guess to wrap it up, I just wanted to ask you to give anyone watching that's experiencing loneliness at the moment some encouraging words before we go.
All right, yeah, so the first thing I would say is, first of all, normalize that feeling of loneliness so that it doesn't feel like you're the only one. It doesn't become an isolating experience where you feel like, oh, it's so bad for me. Know that this is something that a lot of other people have experienced. A lot of other people are experiencing at the same time that you're experiencing yours. Also, This is a place where there's different types of supports available. I know that this is something we don't talk about often, especially coming from where we are coming from. Mental health is usually not a topic on the table. We shy away from it, but I want to encourage you that this is a place where you will not be stigmatized on the basis of how you feel and the kind of emotions coming through for you as a result of feeling lonely. I would encourage you to also seek professional help. You know, speak to a therapist. Yeah, I know that some people would hear this and go, oh, that's very extreme. Of course, as we have mentioned, there are all those groups that you can join, okay? But beyond that, if it begins to look like something that is impacting your daily functioning, please, I would encourage you. I'm a social worker, so I can't help myself. I would encourage you to always speak to someone, okay? And it's confidential. There's lots of confidential services out there. So that is my encouragement to you.
Those are really good tips. I think highlight is seek help where needed, and definitely you're not alone, and reach out if you just want someone to have a chat with. There are lots of groups, lots of communities, there are lots of festivals and things. There was one that just rounded up. Just do your research, get on top of what's happening. So yeah, stay encouraged, stay lived up, stay motivated, stay excited. It gets better. You get to build your tribe, you get to build your community. Chioma, how long have you been here for?
I've been here about close to 9 years now. Yeah.
9 years, 10 years. We're OGs. So we're telling you right now, loneliness is not the problem. The problem now is that we miss certain Niger environment. It's now the environment as opposed to, you know, you just be sitting down, be thinking of roasted corn and pear. Just, you know, just silly things like that you can live without. But yeah, it's definitely gotten better. Thank you so much for coming on the channel. Thank you for touching on this very important topic. If this resonates with you at all, if you have been lonely at some point and you got past it and there's something we haven't touched on, please give us some more advice in the comment section. And if you are going through it at the moment, there's light at the end of the tunnel, we promise. Okay, thank you for watching. Chioma, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
It was my pleasure. Yeah.
Don't forget to check out her channel. I will link it in the description box. That topic of, are you betraying your country by leaving the country and seeking a better life? I mean, what's your answer before you even go there? What's your answer? Think of it, then go there and let us know in the comment section. All right, Chioma, say bye to everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. I'll see you again in the other video. Meet us there.
Bye.